from the Shooting Nomads. We are so excited. We're heading out on our next adventure. Going to
Alaska and Canada for 3 months.
3 months. We're heading out on a photo shoot for landscape and wildlife.
Awesome. So for this trip, we decided we'd set some goals because it's a pretty lengthy trip and it's going to be expensive. So we came up with some fairly modest goals. The first one was to scout locations for both landscape and wildlife photography, because this is not our only trip. We're going to have multiple trips. Anyway, that's the expectation. The second is to build up our portfolio for wildlife and landscape, which, by the way, you can see on shootingnomads.com.
Right, and the other things one of the goals that we're working on is just identifying future campgrounds, areas that we could potentially bring the motorhome that can accommodate, we have a 45 foot, so we're looking for areas that can accommodate that in future when we come. And I think the next thing is really data collection, really just collecting as much information about the trip, about the routes we're traveling, the places that we're seeing, the locations that we're finding to shoot, and sharing that information with you, sharing photos for our family, for friends and viewers. And again, that information will be available on Shooting Nomads website, and we'll also be getting out things on our YouTube channel as well, and hopefully, it can help you plan for your trip to Canada and Alaska. Here we come. We are super excited. Like we said, we've been planning on this trip for about 5 months now, and the time has finally come, so we're really raring to go. We usually travel in a 45 foot motorhome. It's an Integra Anthem. It's totally gorgeous. And we spent a lot of time thinking about whether to take the motorhome with us on this trip, and we heard a lot of reviews from people. About 50% of the people said you can take that motorhome out there, just go slow and steady, you'll be fine. Another 50% of the people said, no way, you are crazy, don't take that coach out there. So we thought about it a lot, right? And we kind of decided that hopefully this is just the first of many to come. This is an exploration trip for photography, locations, and for wildlife, right? And,
Exactly.
And we felt like if we took our pop-up camper, it would be a great way to start just for an exploratory trip. So for 3 months, we'll be in our 4-wheel pop-up, and that was the vehicle we chose to make the first trip out. We're also towing behind us our Jeep Rubicon as well, and that's our backup vehicle, and to make short trips on outings and so forth. So.
And it's also a storage device.
We are loaded to the hilt. But yes, so we are loaded up on both vehicles and ready to go. We put the motorhome in storage yesterday, and our day before yesterday, and we are out on the road now in the pop-up camper.
Okay, so as Susan said earlier, we decided not to take our mothership, which is our motorhome. We're taking the truck and the Jeep. In order to get ready for the trip, we did 2 things for our vehicles. The first one was to install this 300-pound beast of a grill in front of the truck. Of course, the concern is road debris because of all the road construction that typically goes on in Alaska and Canada. And the second, of course, is protection from wildlife. We've had a close encounter last year in Glacier National Park where we almost hit a giant moose with our Jeep. The moose survived fine and the Jeep survived with a minor dent, but it was a close call. So I'm not sure this would actually protect against a giant moose, but it should help. Second thing we worry about while traveling in Alaska is road debris being picked up, stones being picked up and hitting the toad. There's multiple options available that people have utilized, ranging from nothing to things like this shield that covers the front and windshield, screens that cover the area between the RV and the Toad, and there's even guards that can be installed in the front. So between all those different options, we went with the tow car shield, and this is made by a company called Coastline Manufacturing in California. We'll provide links in our blogs to the various shield options.
We are here in Washington today, and tomorrow we plan on being able to cross the border and head into, we'll be going through Vancouver into Canada and continue on. We're going to be going into British Columbia, the Yukon, and up into Alaska. And so a day out, super excited. Our trip, we're going to plan to take the Gold Rush route in, and we look forward to traveling on all of the main highways that are out there, the Sea to Sky Highway, the Cassiar, the Alcan, of course, and we'll make our way up to Anchorage. And there, our daughter and son-in-law, they're going to be meeting us for a brief visit over in the Anchorage area, and we'll be traveling and exploring south of Anchorage, and then heading up to a couple nights stay in Denali National Park. And then from there, our family will depart, and then we'll continue on back down. We'll be going down the outside passage on the way back. We'll be stopping in places like Jasper and Banff, going to Tombstone as well, and working our way back. Hopefully, we'll be kind of finishing up and out of there by the end of September before all the snow comes in. And so that'll be pretty much our 3-month journey, with lots of side routes, hopefully, in between.
In this segment, I wanted to share with you some of the equipment we're carrying with us, and actually there's a fair bit of it. So starting with the wildlife gear, we have a couple of cameras with 2 big lenses. This is a 500 millimeter Sigma F4 mounted on a Nikon D500, and this is my primary system. I also have a Sigma 100 to 600 sport lens. It's a zoom lens, but I'm starting to love this so much that I use it less. And then likewise, Susan has the 500 mounted on a Canon 7D Mark II, and then she has a Manfrotto monopod to stabilize the body. It's a fairly heavy system. And then when Susan wants to be really portable, this is her zoom lens, nice and compact. It's the Tamron 150 to 600 millimeter zoom. When I shoot with my 500 millimeter, I use a tripod with a gimbal head, and yep. Okay, and then finally for landscape, I shoot with the Nikon D850, which is what we're using to record this video. And that's mounted on a really right stuff tripod. That's a nice big sturdy tripod for windy conditions. For lenses, I have a wide angle lens. This is a 14 to 24 Nikon with the photodiox filter setup, and then the 8400, and there's a 2470 zoom currently mounted on the body that we're shooting the video with. And then I also carry a smaller portable tripod. It's a Gitzo tripod. This is good for long hikes, reduces the weight. For camera bags, there's a Tamrac bag. The Rugged is good for the 500 millimeter, and then I have an f-stop bag that I use for my landscape gear. In addition to what you saw earlier, we've got a few additional gadgets to help with the documentation process. The Mavic Air to do aerial photography and videography. Something I haven't done much of, but hopefully we'll learn. extra batteries and controllers and so forth. This is one of the GoPros. It's a Hero 5. We're using it to capture roadside and other type of hiking type photography. The next one is the GoPro Fusion. This is a pretty interesting camera in that it's a 360-degree camera, and it'll take photos and videos, and the videos are actually 5.2K resolution. So I'm pretty excited about this new addition to our gadgets, and we'll be using this wherever we go. And then lastly, we have an Evo SP Pro Gen 2 gimbal, which can be used on a smartphone, for a smartphone, or with an attachment, can also use it with the GoPro. So with all of these gadgets, we're hoping to be able to adequately document our trip and have fun doing it.
About wraps it up for now. Hopefully it just gives you a flavor of the mischief we're up to, the adventures we're undertaking, and starting to get late. We're gonna wrap it up here because we've got to go to sleep. We've got to hit the road in the morning and get through Vancouver and get across the border. There's a lot of information, right, that we have not been able to share with you, and there's things about clothing and different types of gear, safety preparedness, bear safety, mosquito safety, prevention. Tools, yeah, maintenance for vehicles, planning for safe travel with the vehicles. So, so much information, and we will be sharing it, the links where we found useful information, and it'll be included in our blog also, and you'll be able to find a lot more detail in the blog that goes into some of these topics.
So here's to looking forward to plenty of more videos and blogs on our trip to Alaska and Canada. We're super excited.
Super excited. I'm ready to go to sleep so I can get up and hit the road tomorrow. So
Goodbye.